Hey guys, it's Will. Hopefully, you're having a great day today. It is Tuesday, and we're going to go over some of the top quantum stocks as well as which defense companies we'll be wanting to watch today. We had some big moves in the markets, and we're going to jump right into it. If you guys enjoy these types of videos, make sure to hit the like button. If we get 150 likes on this video, then we'll go ahead and have one of our daily live trading sessions from Stockmate available to the public for one session. So if you'd like to potentially get the chance to tune in live to our private live sessions, then go ahead, smash the like button, and we'd love to see you in those sessions. So first thing first, we have some new things rolling. The first thing we got actually is got the washer hooked up. How about that? So in this rental place down here, we have been building a whole apartment. This actually at one point used to, it's a converted from a garage, right? So this is like an apartment building. We're fixing it up. We're gonna rent it out here. But essentially, this is things were not set up for a washer dryer. We got a 2-in-1 there. We got some new plants in the place. I hooked up the washer dryer so it hooks in. It's actually hooked in with the sink and everything, and it all works. So haven't done a ton of plumbing in a few years, but we did that today, so that was super eventful. But anyway, we're gonna jump into it. Some good stocks to be watching, some good companies to be focused on, and let's jump right into it. So first things first, we got some of the defense companies that were moving today. We saw BBAI jump about 17% today, continuing this trend up into that $6 range. So pretty good news for BBAI investors is that they are still rapidly deploying their new tech, and they reached their previous levels that we saw back in August, so just about a month or so ago, where they were before that earnings dip. So good to see the recovery kick in there for investors that are holding like myself. And we got an average of about $2.80, so we'll be continuing to watch there. We're going to jump into quantum. So quantum computing companies had a really nice run earlier into this week. We saw some new highs for quite a few companies. IonQ was able to reach that $62 price point, breaking out of previous resistance. So they're at an all-time high. We saw Rigetti make some runs this week as well, back up into that $20 price point. So they're at it, not an all-time high, but very close to it as they continued. Now, most stocks now looking a little overbought on the RSI. I see Marty's tuned in. Marty, what's going on, Marty? Apparently, Marty bought BBAI right before that surge. I'm glad you did. Somebody commented on the video we put out today, and they said, Will, you're always late for your coverage. And I thought, that's so funny this person says that, because we were anticipating these moves before they happened. So I'm like, so how early do you have to be? How early do they want me to be? It's so funny. Like, we've been covering some of these quantum stocks in a way, with respect to having amazing analysts and other investors in the world that are able to cover them, but also from our own insights going to the conferences, things like that, where we started covering some of these around $1 a share. Rigetti at $1 a share, IonQ, as just a fraction of what it's at currently. And so now we see Jose's here. Jose says, hi, Will. What's going on, Jose? Good to see you here. Elvis is here. Says, what do you think of Redwire new contracts? What's going on, Elvis? Jose is here. Jose, good to see you here. You say, I bought Redwire today. Awesome. How did that go? Redwire was kind of consolidating today, if not dipping just a little bit. So first thing first, let's jump into it. IonQ. So again, we got IonQ there. We got QBTS. QBTS was one we were watching recently. We're looking for a potential bounce there on that $14 support level, back up into that $18 range. We did see that play out. But valuation's still pretty high. So what we've noticed is, while they're continuing the trends, and we see them break back up into highs recently. Um, some of the levels we're watching closely, for example, with QBTS, is you got now breaking out of that resistance. There's now a support level it's going to find probably around this $18.50 range. But what we're talking about with quantum is the financials. Things kind of taking a while to develop. IonQ reached 18.5 billion today. That's a lot for a company that hasn't been turning a profit yet. They got higher price targets right now. They got more investment interest. And when we're seeing that happen, when the financials still seem to be lagging a little bit here, um, we have to pay attention. So when we see the QBTS seems to be getting some momentum, but they're still lagging behind on their revenue big time. And then Rigetti stock, same deal. They are getting some momentum. One of the smaller companies in quantum, as far as market cap goes, if you compare Rigetti to, IBM, of course, or you could compare it to IonQ or what have you. It's one of the smaller ones. We see it go up about 4% today. Over the last 6 months, Rigetti's up 79% in a very consistent uptrend. And so what we're seeing still is revenue holding low. Jose says Rigetti will. So again, from the market perspective, quantum is getting more investments. From the financial perspective, outside of government spending, things like that, which are increasing some of, maybe their temporary net income increases, they are seeing some total assets rise. A lot of the companies building their runway. Rigetti's got plenty of runway for years to come at this point. They got about $636 million. So they got runway right now. They're building out some quantum computing technology right now that is at the forefront of quantum. When we're looking at what the goal of quantum is, it's to, get QPUs to a point where they can do things that GPUs can't, that they can help us calculate things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do unless we put like 5 data centers together, but the quantum computer would be able to do it basically on its own. And with those goals, they've had some really good partners develop. They got AWS as a partner. Okay, so Microsoft, we've definitely seen the Microsoft partnership with Rigetti continue to build out as they got their quantum initiative here, the virtual machine, quantum machine here, open source simulator that you can tap into through the cloud here on Microsoft. And some of their other partners include MIT, NASA, definitely got Oxford Instruments. Now, when it comes to the news, have they come out with anything recently from a press release standpoint? Not so much. We have seen them ship some quantum computers to different places, including Montana State University, which is great. But they still are on this race right now to increasing the qubits, getting more qubits, and that comes down to improving their current setup, improving the details of what they have right now. You can also see Rigetti demonstrates industry's largest multi-chip quantum computer and has the 2-qubit gate error rates. So error rate is a big thing. Performance has gone up, and using them in tandem with GPUs is kind of the goal in the future. Now, right now, with where they are at in Berkeley, California, and they're right next to NVIDIA, they're right next to, all the big tech companies, they're in a really good place to continue to grow. Now, long term, of course, we love it. We've been covering them a while. We like the moves. We like to see where they're at. Rigetti, a $20 stock now. It's tremendous. But really what we're looking at too is, short term, for a lot of these companies, you have to be ready for the swings. You have to be ready for the pullbacks, because when they happen fast, and they can hurt a lot of investors. A lot of investors get caught in not having a plan together, not have very good entries, not have very good exits, and they end up losing money. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. If you're long term, have a plan for that and stick to it. If you're short term, like how we sometimes trade short term, but oftentimes we're long term in these quantum companies, we're looking at this recent surge and we're saying, wow, okay, we're at all time highs. We're seeing RSI MACD overbought now. We're seeing it basically trend in this hyper bull trend that it's been running through the last week, and quantum stocks are doing well. But the holders are heavy, right? So you got 30 to 50% of most of these quantum companies having institutional ownership pretty high. You got BlackRock and Vanguard. It's not a problem, but it is going to mean that if you got a lot of institutions that are holding, and you have a few institutions that hold large amounts of the company, a couple sell orders can really drive this stock down. So just keep that in mind. We'd love to see it though. We'd love to see the increase. The golden age we're in right now with quantum computing is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's why we go to the conferences. That's why we cover them consistently. What you need to know right now, most of them are at a resistance level, but they're kind of in this overall uptrend and looking to pull back probably over the next day or so, but still looking to continue their hyper bull trend. A lot of them haven't changed patterns, and stocks have a greater chance of continuing in the direction that they're going than reversing. So right now, a lot of them are bullish. They're going up, so they have a greater chance to continue to do so. Jose says, the way is, I like the way that you explain. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in. So here is the next focus. We got quantum companies with a lot of wind at their backs right now. The next kind of movement that we're seeing really kick in is in robotics, in AI, and in the space tech industry. The space tech industry definitely has seen more momentum over the last few weeks. We have some active trades and some active long-term positions in a lot of these companies, from Rocket Lab to Black Sky to Redwire. We also are holding some LUNR, some lunar stock. And Redwire, really, really great on its recent moves of validating that $8 support. Redwire has seen support levels down here around $8 and looking to make this current run up into about $10 a share, which is a 15% increase. We saw it validate $8 a share. With Redwire's current market cap and where they're going, they potentially could be a $10 to $20 stock. And the reason why, and I don't say that to hype them up, I don't say that to predict. Obviously, we don't know. We're going to have to see how the market reacts. But when you look at some of the principles of Benjamin Graham, or 95% of people that invest can't do well. And this number, it has skewed a little bit. Sometimes they say 80%, some say 75%, but in general, it's 95% of people can't pick individual stocks and be more successful than buying index funds. But the same people that tell you to buy index funds, they buy individual stocks. Look at Warren Buffett. Look at Charlie Munger. Look at the best investors in history. While they tell you to buy index funds, they also end up buying individual stocks. Now, how can they do that? How do they become part of the 5%? Well, they have simple rules and systems that they deploy to ensure that the probabilities are high that they're finding stocks at good deals, right? So when we're looking at one of the rules that Benjamin Graham, the mentor of Warren Buffett, deploys, and I was going to do a video, actually, I think it was Jose, was it Jose Yanis or Shenas, depending on where you're tuning in. Argentina, we'd say Shanas. Jose said, can we do a video on the top books for investing? And I said, yeah, let's do it. And I was going to do that today. We just got some things going on. But one of the books, it's a value investing on Benjamin Graham, right? Benjamin Graham's philosophy. And one of the things they talk about is finding stocks that have a market cap, that the market cap is lower than their total assets that they have right now. So, for example, like when you're looking at Redwire, Redwire has a $1.3 billion market cap, right? Smaller company in the space tech world, but still up there in the 1.3 billion. They have deals that are putting them in a very nice place from, for example, um, acquiring space tech, aerial tech, to also signing this iSpace contract to be one of the contractors in a $2.6 billion deal. But their market cap, right, 1.3 billion, is lower than their total assets. Their total assets is at 1.5 billion. So they have more total assets than they do a market cap. And it's the same thing when it's the same thing that's true for the small cap as it is for the large cap. If we can find companies that have a lower current market cap than their total assets and most likely their backlog of contracts, that's a great place to be. So with Redwire, we are invested in it. We do have some positions, but we're looking at this $8 support currently. We see them push above this moving average recently, and they're looking to get back up into this $10 range, that 15% margin on Redwire, and potentially continue the overall market cap build. We've seen them have some really nice trends, and they have some challenges, right? Some of the challenges they have is they're still looking for some of the revenue to reflect. They're making $60 million a quarter. They're increasing their revenue year over year. You could see that kind of hockey stick increase of revenue. But one of the challenges too, when I was talking with Redwire at a space conference in Colorado Springs, I got to be sponsored there by SpaceX. We got a free pass. We got to go meet with all their partners and meet with Black Sky and Rocket Lab and AST Space, which was cool. But when we did that, we got to talk with them. And one of the things they said is it's a competitive market right now, and we're looking to have a unique edge. And they've demonstrated, Redwire, for the most part, has demonstrated that they can have those competitive edges play out for them. They've had some contracts recently, about $25 million contract recently, this past 2 weeks. They've had some other press releases where they are continuing to build their defense systems and um, and create new facilities. And so as they're opening a new facility actually this past week, there you can see that, as they build out this momentum here, they are looking to bounce up into this $10 to $15 range. We're looking at a 15% margin for profit to potentially a 70 to 100% margin for profit on Redwire. Now, the similar play that I'm looking at too, that is pretty similar as well, is going to be Lunar, LUNR. We've talked about this one, kind of getting into the buy range on the Fibonacci. We went pretty deep last time technically, but you do see it start to build market cap as well with LUNR. They're getting some contracts as well, and they're around the same price point right now too. And so we're going to continue to watch that. We're going to continue to watch Redwire. We got some positions there, and probably if an opportunity presents itself at market open, then we will most likely trade it. The best opportunities do happen usually within the first few minutes of the day. And if you guys ever want to join us in the daily live trading sessions, it's the second link in the description below. So Huang says, Red Cat. Can you take a look at Red Cat? Yeah, I see that. Okay, cool. We could take a look there. And then you got Soundhound as well there from Drew Cuts. We could take a look, Drew. All right, so you got BT, you got MPW, you got Red Cat. I think Red Cat's in an interesting position. When we head over to drone tech, we see more investments from the US government in drone tech. How many of you guys have seen the Red Cat's ads? Anybody seen the ads on TV? Because they have these ads on TV for Red Cat that I just recently saw when I was in LA, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. And it was. So Red Cat Holdings, they're a drone tech company. They're partnered with Palantir, and they primarily focus on drone tech for the military. But I think in the commercial, for example, they actually had a focus not as much on the military drone tech, but they were more focused on what was the like commercial delivery or something. I think it was a commercial delivery. I gotta look at what it was. I think it was, no, maybe not. Maybe it literally was basically an ad that was showcasing their tech for military. But they have this Arkid, or I don't know how to say it, family of smaller ISR and precision effects systems, um, transforming defense and security operations. They have some, this is a hybrid VTOL drone system. Then they have Black Widow, which is their short range reconnaissance tactical quad rotor that is rucksack portable. Okay. And then you got Fang. So if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I don't think they're purely surveillance. I think they're potentially even weapons equipped. I could be wrong there. Um, However, when we're looking at the media and the press releases they've had some manipulation on the stock, but let's take a look. Since the manipulation they had earlier this year, they've actually recovered, um, which was right here. We saw January, big spike up to $15, sold all the way down to about $4 a share, and continue to roar up into this overall uptrend, holding above that 200-day moving average. So right now, as they continue this trend, they did just get rejected a little bit at that $11.80 price point. You could kind of see there rejection, and they potentially are indicating that that is a level they're struggling to break above. And the pull down to this $8.50 range could make a lot of sense there for Red Cat. But what we're looking at for why they're continuing to grow, AI powered threat detection. Okay, they got Black Widow drones. They have some smaller contracts, but they also have some, direct offerings of common stock, which are not always the best to see. When you look at their financials, they haven't come in with good revenue. So still negative net income, only about $1 million a quarter. Pretty horrendous when it comes to their financials right now. But something's going on with the company. People are believing it apparently because you do see them build their balance sheet, their total assets up to about 120 million, and liabilities drop down a little bit. So cash short-term investments are up 1,500% year over year, with more growth in the financial side of their balance sheet, but not seeing any growth in their actual income yet. Their net income's negative and their operating expenses are up right now. So not really the best spot for them to be. If I was investing in a company, I want to see that they have more revenue than $3 million when we're looking at a market cap of 1 billion. That's 3 million bucks in a quarter. I mean, like 1.6 million. I have friends that are doing 1.6 million in a quarter, like that aren't like public companies. Like that's a very small amount for a valuation in the market of 1 billion. Doesn't mean it's bad though. What it could mean is, again, just really good sentiment from investors around drone tech. They love it. They want to see more of it. But as an investor myself, I see it as overbought at the moment. Could it continue up? Of course, but you do see you see this resistance level at $11 a share, and they are kind of an uptrend, but overall financials can only carry you. They can only get carried so far from what they're doing. And I think financials are definitely a key there. Crazy Carl says, could you elaborate on why a stock would have such negative net income in the past year? Yeah, of course. I mean, probably related to what we were just talking about. Like, it's a great question, Carl. Like this morning, there were ads, right? So we saw ads on the company that we were talking about, and they're running ads. So they're spending a ton of money to get in front of people. They have a balance sheet, so they're getting cash. They're putting that cash into things. Most likely, if they're smart, they're buying materials, they're building manufacturing for their drones so that they can increase their revenue in the future. But it hasn't showed up yet. So net income negative. They're investing in infrastructure. They're investing in ads. They're investing in their company, but they're not seeing the revenue kick in yet. And they're looking to secure defense contracts, most likely. Maybe if they get 50 million, $100 million contract from the U.S. Department of Defense or some branch of the military, then great, we could see the revenue surge. But as of now, there is no indication that that has materialized yet. So that's kind of why they're negative right now. They're just investing in their company, and they haven't seen the returns come out for them yet. All right, so Drew says, "Can you do SoundHound, bro?" What's going on, Drew? We can do it. We can do it, Drew. Let's make it happen. And then Jose says, "Rich Tech Robotics if you get a chance." So let's start with SoundHound. SoundHound is an AI company that specializes in voice, okay? Large language model voice for companies that need to build that infrastructure into their company. So custom solutions. Looks like they were down about 1% today. So SoundHound is one of the companies we have traded quite often. We've had some really good trades this year on SoundHound. We have seen that 3-stage to reversal, similar to how we were waiting for it on Big Bear AI before Big Bear surged about 17% recently. We saw this 3-stage reversal. We were tracking it all the way through, and it played out. I know it looks so crazy with all the drawings. I'm just going to delete them all. But you guys can kind of see this development, right? Where they're having a consistent uptrend play out. We go back even further, kind of see this market cap getting driven up as a result of AI. So they are seeing some trends like this. We did see a nice surge there back in January, December for SoundHound. They had a really big surge. Now they're looking kind of in between this trend. Maybe they're near the top, actually, if we tone it down a little bit here. And that it looks like they're near that $15 resistance level, selling back down into that $12, $13 range. Why is SoundHound a good one to watch? Well, what we like about the AI market right now, there's so many opportunities, right? But you want to see which ones are really starting to get traction with real world usage. SoundHound has real world usage traction with their AI voice deployments and infrastructure building for Kia, for Hyundai, for Genesis. You got Chipotle. They're partnered with NVIDIA. They're actually at some places that are in like the fast food era, and potentially working with McDonald's. That's one of the potentially backlog contracts that we could see. So you see they are integrating their tech into companies that want the voice in the car. So you have, Hyundai, what have you. They're integrating the tech, the voice AI, into companies that have drive-throughs that want the AI to take the order for them. So why today do we have somebody taking the order if AI could take the order? That's what's happening there. Pandora, voice mode. You got them working with banks as well. And so this is the focus for them, is that they are building AI, agentic AI here for what are some of the biggest companies in the world. Now, when we look at their financials, okay, they're at about $6 billion in market cap, and they're starting to build out their revenue. Revenues increasing year over year. You do see it increasing, but not nearly as much as their current valuation, right? Their revenue right now is, as we mentioned, $42 million in a quarter. Revenues up 200% year over year. It's great, really good, but there's still only revenue of about 42 million in the quarter. So that's really good to see green, but they need to see that improve. You can see the balance sheet here is increasing with total assets up to 579 million. So they do have more assets. They have plenty of runway, and they're looking to continue to grow. Now, there's a lot of targets for SoundHound that are much greater than their current market cap. In fact, if we do an analysis, we'll do an analysis here on Mercatus. Let's see what the machine has to say about SoundHound. So the machine is fairly bullish on SoundHound, looking like potentially it's going to go up 7% or 15% over the next 3 months. It just pulled out the detailed analysis, and it says the stocks had some upward trajectory. The AI market has been in a really good place. There's been some catalysts for them from different partnerships. 50-day moving average is trending upwards as well, which indicates that they're going to continue up in the next week. So basically, I was kind of a little more conservative on the stock because the valuation doesn't make sense, right? I mean, the valuation is buying what could be, and that's what's happening a lot right now, and it's fine. It's part of investing. Just because we buy it high doesn't mean it won't go up more, right? It's just a matter of having a plan. And when it comes to SoundHound, this is what basically the machine and general assumptions from the market are assuming, that it's going to continue back up into this $18 range, which would be a 25% increase. So interesting. I mean, I'd kind of like to go to a drive-through sometime, or get a car where I'm talking to it and it's AI. Maybe go through a drive-through and they're like, "Are you sure, Will, that you want to get that burger? Are you sure? Do you?" And imagine they get them so good that they can, like, the AIs are like upselling you. They're like, you got the burger, but are you really gonna drive through here and not get a Oreo shake? Like, they could prompt engineer the AIs at the drive-through for SoundHound to like upsell people on bringing more value to the business. And while it sounds ridiculous and funny, it's actually like it's actually really good. Like it would be really good for their economy, actually, because like if I worked at a fast food restaurant, I mean, people don't do this obviously because they don't own the restaurant. But if it was my restaurant, let me ask you, if it was your restaurant and it was your place and someone ordered something like fries, people used to care more at the drive-through. In the past, I feel like when I would go and I order fries and then some other burger, they say, "Oh, well, if you bundle it together and you bundle this and you get this, then it'll actually be cheaper for you. You want to do that?" And I'll be like, "Well, that's great. Yeah, let's do that." They used to be like caring more at the drive-throughs. Now, it seems that when I go through the drive-throughs, they're like, "Okay, you want that? You want that? Okay, we're good. We're done. Okay, you're gonna pay it." And so, what if they had a bundling thing with like AI that not only does it talk to you and like take your order, but it also is like looking at how you could either save money or what would be a nice value upgrade that you might spend more but get more. I think that those are things to think about with the AI impacts. That it's not just like Siri type voice. This is AI. This can be programmed a certain way. So just keep that in mind. All right, so what's going on, Aaron? Good to see you, Aaron. Hopefully you're having a good day today. Aaron said, "Don't forget Very." Yeah, I saw Very today was doing quite well, weren't they? They were up about 7% today, up to $3.99. That is that Veritone? Veritone is doing quite well. Enterprise AI. Interesting. Yeah, we did see some momentum for them. I don't know if they were reporting earnings or what. I didn't see that in Stockmate that they were reporting earnings. But awesome, Aaron. Good to see you. I hope that people are sleeping on that one, Aaron. Okay, we'll have a closer look on that one, Aaron. Thanks. All right. Drew says, can you do open stock as well? Bought in, but have some average down as well. Yeah, I mean, with open stock, there's a lot of reasons to look at it. Um, they have really good financials actually open, and their direct marketing campaigns are like really good. They're basically doing wholesale campaigns. The richest person that I ever worked with extensively for a long period of time was someone that was really, really good at direct marketing and real estate. And he had a real estate company that I worked with him on. And one of the strategies that he used to do was he would like send out ads and send out those postcards that say, do you want to sell your house? We'll buy your house, right? And he had really good language. He would say things like, you wouldn't consider selling your house to me, would you? And it'd be like a picture of him, and it'd be like, call now or something. And I did some other variations of helping him do that with like the text, the QR code, the text or call, and changing language, and even using a Google Street View of all of the homes so that you could send out a massive campaign. But every postcard that would go out to all the people that would want to sell their house would be like a Google Street View of the house, and it would be like pointing at the house and be like, you wouldn't consider selling this house, would you? I mean, it was a really great um, way to get people to call you. And I did it. I did some wholesale deals personally. It was in, oh, I think it was Montgomery, Alabama was where I was flipping real estate remotely. And I sent out mail and I started getting calls, and I then got someone under contract, and I posted on Facebook, and then got buyers, and then coordinated with the title company and all that stuff. And what I learned is that working with that guy is that direct marketing is like so effective. And if you're not doing it as a business, it's it's really hard in certain industries to make it. And so direct marketing is what Open does. Open does, I just saw some ads. They say selling your home is easy, and they say, we'll give cash for your home in 2 seconds. Fill out the QR code on the screen. They basically do direct mail, but to like people that are watching TV at home. It's a tremendous undertaking. And so with open stock, you can kind of take a look. I actually got to get rolling here because I got to get to the gym here. But let's take a look. $6.6 billion valuation. You could see they're at $1.57 billion in revenue per quarter. So billions of dollars in revenue. Revenue's up 3% year over year. Their assets and liabilities have dropped. And one thing to note is that their liabilities are kind of high. They actually only have equity of about 630 million. So their current market cap of 6.6 billion is actually fairly high. I know that that sounds a little crazy when you look at their quarterly revenue, but they're not positive on the quarterly revenue, probably because they're spending a ton of money on direct advertising, or that they are real estate. Sometimes the margins can take longer to materialize. And what it's been explosive on recently with the news of it, getting more momentum and eyeballs, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to just rocket and continue up, because it most likely would fizzle out, because stable markets is actually a little bit more favorable. Stable markets is normally what you would see in a stock related to real estate. So more likely than not, we would see it correct down. Looks like now it's trying to hold that previous resistance at $9. If it can't, next level of support here would be at this level. It's a $7.50 range, essentially. $7.50 resistance and support there. If it can't hold this previous resistance slash support here at about $9 a share that it's at currently, trying to hold. If it can't hold there, next target down to $7. I wouldn't invest in it personally. It's up there. So I mean, it's great that they're doing what they're doing, but they're at near all-time highs and a little bit of downward momentum. One thing to note as well is if it's a bullish stock, guys, you're going to see it holding above the moving average, right? Like this, moving average holding above bullish. When it crosses below that moving average and then the moving average starts to act as a resistance, now you got to watch out for rejection at the moving average. And that could be a pretty quick move down into that 850 or below. So I would want to trade it. If we were trading it on anything shorter term, I would look for it to, again, break above that moving average before entering a position. Because you can see when it's not, it's holding below when it's bearish. And it just crossed below. So just be careful there on that level. I think maybe no matter what, as long as you have a plan, you'll be okay. But personally, I would see that $9 support is pretty critical for it right now. So that's how it works. Cool. Yep. So Alex is here. What's going on, Alex? Let's see. Alex says, missed the BBAI talk. You got $5.11 entry, 10,000 shares. Nice. Yeah, we did a full video on Big Bear AI this morning. We were looking for that move to play out here in this uptrend, this reversal, actually. We've been following it for a couple of weeks, and we got it. It surged about 7%, not 7%, 17% today. Really big move there. So there's some other great ticker symbols, DPRO, ICE. We went over DPRO about 2 days ago. If I'm not mistaken, I think it looked fairly good, but that there was some slight manipulation happening because their financials hadn't really caught up. And we were anticipating yesterday, we did an analysis here. We were anticipating a sell down from $5.30 down to about $4.90 or down to this support. It actually did that today. It sold down about 8% at one point, but then recovered after that. But I think we were looking at an overall uptrend here, but that there was some risk on the financials and that we might look for it to sell back down to $5. But it's got a $5 support. So that's what's going on with DPRO. Keystone Pumpkins, what's going on? How are you doing? Good to see you, man. I'm always happy to see your name here in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Phantom Thrifter says AMPX is making a move. I think this will be a huge winner next few years. Noticed how much they beat Tesla battery. Nice. Yeah, AMPX is an interesting one. We have done some analysis on AMPX. I think they had some purchase orders. Yeah, recent purchase orders, 30 million, 35 million for some of their tech. However, AMPX. Amprius, $1 billion valuation. They're doing some battery tech. Their revenue's pretty small still. They're looking to increase it, but the revenue's still small. They have a balance sheet of 120 million. Great, but balance sheet still not enough. I would say I would wait more for them to continue to build their market cap, or not their market cap, their revenue before investing, just because of where we see them go to right now. They're only making about $45 million or so a year. So $1 billion valuation on that is pretty high. But they continue to run. Looks like last time I was looking at them, I was looking for a pullback. They continue to run in their overall uptrend. I was saying maybe they pull back. They continue to run. Now, at this point, though, they do look overbought. You could see that level at 950. But again, it really just depends on your plan. I think it's great. If you like, you're noticing, hey, the batteries are better than Tesla. You're saying, hey, this looks better than Tesla on the battery. Awesome. Awesome, man. I mean, all power to you. The Phantom Thrifter APLD. So APLD rumors, hyperscaler, that they're going to have another deal for their data centers. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, so APLD has had a lot of momentum because they're building data centers right now for the biggest tech companies in the world, from CoreWeave to building with NVIDIA to working with Supermicro Computer, along with Dell and Intel. And we've seen them really focus on building some data centers. Their price points that we've seen them start to build out, if we go over to data centers, and I got to roll here, actually, I got to go to the gym here soon. But APLD reached this all-time high now of $20 a share, or levels that they haven't seen since 2021. We're looking for a slight pullback. They did make that 3% pullback, but they're still holding now that $19 support. So they're in a hyper bull trend, looking to use that $19 resistance as a support and continue back up. They're right now at $19.44, but they're looking to gain and make their way back up into that $20 range in the hyper bull trend that they're in now. So we'll see if they can't hold that $20 or that $19 support, excuse me, then they're most likely going to sell down to around $18 a share. So just keep that in mind. There is some downside as they've been rallying, signing billion-dollar deals with a market cap of just 4.8 billion. They have some deals in the backlog right now that are data center leases valued at over 15 billion. So it would make sense we see them continue to do well. All right, guys, I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Phantom, thanks Aaron, thanks Drew for tuning in. Thanks Jaya, Opal, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. You're wondering about TTD. Let me write it down. I'm just going to write it down. So comment your ticker symbols, guys. What do you got really quick? LAES, Rich says, and CTM. We went over CTM in this video. LAES was still a little bit far away fundamentally, but I do see some investor sentiment looking good. Comment the ticker symbols you guys want us to look at here so I can write them down real quick. UAMY. Ooh, gosh, I gotta be careful what I ask for. You're going fast, guys. NAKA. Ticker symbol. All right. Coin. Okay. I think there was a YouTuber. Really, it seemed like it was good content. And his name was like ticker symbol U, and I was like, is that an actual ticker symbol? And I think it was, and I was like, oh, he's promoting that ticker symbol. That's funny. All right, Micron, MU. All right, guys. All right, so we got Rich Tech, definitely got that on the list there. Robotics, Coin Stock, that's gonna be there for sure already. KOPN, thanks Alex, thanks Jose, Akil, thanks for that Micron there. Okay. NPW, I've seen that one around. So the most important thing with all these tickers you guys might see is to realize we don't need one massive winner. We just need to identify companies that are attracting institutions. And that seems to be, at least in 2025, what's allowed us to make returns. A lot of us, I'm getting messages. I don't think it's just me that's having some of these returns of, some of these stocks that are doing 50 to 100% this year. I think there is a tremendous amount of you that are doing really, really good. Otherwise, we wouldn't see so much engagement. I've been getting a lot of messages, especially in StockMate recently, from some investors. I got to refresh. I'll get that refresh there. Around some of the semiconductor markets, really cool. So I got those written down, and know that part of what's going to determine your success is going to be patience, but it's going to be knowing that work towards it slowly, because when you get it, you'll keep it. When you really understand what's driving these stocks, what makes a good investment. Pumpkin says, I've had some really good trades recently. That's awesome. We got some really good testimonials recently as well. But some people, they think they need to make it all at once. You'll lose it. I'm telling you. When I was young, I had some really big trades that did very well, and I lost it just as quick. And I've also, what do they say? Like when you have fame, people, you oftentimes see people that get fame really fast or money really fast. What do they do a lot of times? They lose it. They don't know how to handle it. Be okay with building it slowly and steady, consistently. Be okay with that. Because guess what? When you get it, when you get what you want and you're where you want to be, you'll keep it because you understand what got you there. You'll understand why you're there, how you can do it again, and you'll realize that's why you hear people say, and it gives me like goosebumps because like I've literally gone through this. My wife and I have literally gone through this. You can lose everything and still get it back because you know how you got it. Have you ever, any of you guys had those moments in life where you're like, man, I'm gonna be okay. I'm never gonna go broke because I have these skills. Have you guys ever had those moments? Realize that with trading and investing, like it takes a while. You're not just gonna immediately know how to identify value, but when you get there, when you understand what it means to identify a good deal, and you're able to do it consistently, you'll realize that you'll keep it and you'll have something for the rest of your life that you can use to create more freedom in your life. And that's what it's all about. So if you guys are here right now, you made it this far in the live stream, go ahead, comment an emoji or the word gains. Comment the word, like either comment an emoji or comment the word gains. Doesn't matter how big, it could be huge, it could be all caps, it could be small, just like the gains. It doesn't matter how big it is, as long as you're progressing, you guys are a success. Realize the definition of your success is your progress. Comment the words gains. I want to see you guys in the chat. So many of you guys here are a success because you're making the progress right now. I see it rolling in. And the reason is because you think maybe that when you have money in your trading account, you'll be a success. But what I'm telling you is that, and maybe you already have money in your account and you're doing really well, but you're like, I know I could do better, right? That's usually most of our audience, right? And if that's you too, realize that if you are working towards making that happen, you are a success. How many people have we met that are really rich but not happy? Or the person that doesn't have a lot but is very happy? A lot of times it just comes down to goals. It comes down to knowing where you're going and working towards it. And that's when you're going to feel the best. Awesome, guys. I see the gains emojis. I see it. I see you guys here. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, friendly reminder, if you guys want to tune on in to our daily live trading session tomorrow, it's going to be happening at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So early for us on the West Coast, but market open time. So wherever that is for you, market open. We're going live tomorrow for trading and investing in AI, quantum stocks. We'll probably trade some of these ones if the opportunities are there. And if you ever want to see our entries, see my exits, surround yourself with other investors, it's the second link in the description below. We also had the lifetime access. We closed it and it was a subscription. A lot of people were saying, Will, I don't want a subscription. Can we figure something out? For now, we have lifetime access back. For now, don't know how long it will be, but you can grab it in the second link in the description. Just take a look there. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Tuesday afternoon. I'm gonna go hit the gym now. And if I earned your thumbs up, smash the like button. Do consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.